If you or someone you know has diabetes, you may have built up an extra supply of test strips and lancets. That's where we come in. We'll buy the supplies that you don't need and resell them to those in need to prevent waste. Help us make diabetes management more affordable. Visit us at teststripswithaz.com.
All right, we have Cody Stamann back on the show. He returns to action in a month from right now as we record December 7th as the UFC heads to the nation's capital. He's going to take on Yadong Song. How are you, Cody? Great to have you back on, man.
I'm great. Yeah, I can't complain.
I know you sort of touched on it on social media over the summer, but for those who don't know, you were scheduled to fight Rob Font in Greenville back in June, and you were forced out of that fight with an injury. Can you talk about what happened for those who don't know, and how are you feeling now as you prepare for this fight in about a month's time?
Yeah, so I had a shoulder injury beginning of June that took me out of that fight against Font. Now, I mean, it feels great. I don't even really think about it. I haven't really thought about my shoulder in months. So, yeah, I'm really fortunate. Everything healed up the way it should have. It's a big thanks to everyone at the UFC Performance Institute. That's such a great facility. Everyone at the UFC really, I honestly don't think I'd be where I am right now had I not made the decision to move to Las Vegas and utilize the Performance Institute and all the staff there. Those guys really, they collaborate really well as a team to make sure, your strength conditioning, your nutrition, and your PT, everyone kind of works together to make sure that you're getting the best care, and I really think that's the difference. That's the reason I'm healthy today.
Did you move to Las Vegas?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
And when did you make that decision?
Basically right after I got hurt. Yeah, right after I got hurt, I was like, you know what, this is, my window of opportunity as the athlete is getting shorter every single day, and I can't really afford to have injuries that are, taking me out of fights. That's the first time I'd ever pull out of a fight. 40 fights. That was the first time I ever had to pull out of a fight. So it weighed heavy on me, and I made a decision to just uproot my life and leave. But it was a good decision.
It seemed like the natural thing would have been to just rebook you with Rob, especially since the whole thing happened with Lineker stepping in to take the fight, and then he had to withdraw, himself, leaving Rob without an opponent. Of course, he's on that card in DC as well, fighting Ricky Simone. Was that fight between you and Font ever discussed in terms of rebooking that thing?
Yeah, so it was discussed to me briefly in August, and originally that would have made sense, but after getting another MRI on my shoulder, things weren't going to be healed up by then. I was going to need 6 to 8 weeks to heal. I couldn't have made that turnaround and been healthy. I would have just been in the same situation. I'd have been trying to fight with one arm. And initially, I probably would have done that, but my coaches and management said no way, don't do that. So then Font's name never really got brought up again, and then I randomly got a phone call from my manager, Jason House, about fighting Yadong, and I was like, yeah, let's go. That to me, it's all the same. Everyone is really good. Everyone at the top of the bantamweight bracket. 1 to 15, everyone's good. So it doesn't really matter to me. I know I'm gonna have to fight a killer in there, and I know I'll figure out a way to beat him. That's just what I have to do. That's my job.
Yeah, Yadong's been on a nice run, 7 wins in a row. He's 4-0 in the UFC. Just finished Alejandro Perez in July at UFC 239. Does this one get you excited? He's a top 15 guy, surging contender. That's on a lot of people's radars. This one's got to get you fired up a little bit, right?
Yeah, but this is the fourth ranked guy I fought in a row. I went in the UFC. I had 2 fights, and I've fought nothing but ranked guys ever since. 2 of them in the top 10. And all guys with more fights than me, all guys with, that have been around the game way longer than I have, especially in the UFC. So, yeah, this fight gets me up, but, to me, I'm past that, UFC jitter stage. I've been in there with the best, with Sterling, Caraway, and Perez. I've fought a lot of really, really tough guys. So at this point, it's just, I know that, I can beat anybody. It's just about, putting a game plan together and sharpening up in training camp and trying to stay healthy and just making it into the cage. And, after that, I know I'll take care of business.
I didn't mean more like with the number attached to it. I meant more from like a stylistic perspective, because I mean this one has the makings to be a lot of fun. I know in your last fight you fought Perez as well. You expected him to be a little more aggressive, and that sort of lack of aggression surprised you a little bit. Yadong hasn't really shown a lot of signs that he's going to take his foot off the gas in this fight or any fight. So from a stylistic perspective, how do you like this one?
Stylistically, I mean, I think that I'm definitely gonna have to not get smacked with that big overhand right. I mean, I'll be sleeping on national television. The kid's tough. He's tough. Yeah, I mean, I'm up for it. There's just I see a lot of holes. I see a lot of ways I can beat him. So that's what I'm focused on, and I'm more focused on me than I am him. Winners focus on winners. I don't really care what Yadong is doing or what he has. I'm focused on me and what I'm gonna bring, and I know that I've been literally, I feel like I've been in training camp because I literally went from a training camp to really 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 strict rehab into another training camp. So I literally feel like I've been in training camp for 8 months. So I'm just ready to get in there and rip someone's head off.
I saw you post on social media that this fight is the co-main event for December 7th between you and Yadong. Is that the case? Can you confirm that? Is this the co-main event?
I don't know. That's what everyone. Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it is anymore. I think it was. Everyone was sending it to me as the co-main event, so I assumed I was safe to post that it was a co-main event. But I don't think it is anymore. Basically, I think that when Walt Harris pulled off the card, unfortunate as that is, I think it kind of screwed the card up, and they moved everything around after that. So honestly, I have no idea. Might have been a little premature in announcing that, because I don't, it's not like the UFC doesn't come and pat you on the shoulder and tell you you're the co-main event. You kind of just see it for yourself. So yeah, I have no idea where we are in the card. I mean, I don't really care, honestly. I'm still gonna fight the same guy in there. I'm still making the same amount of money. So for me, the big check marks are still the same. So I don't really care.
That's a good point. You had mentioned that with the rankings, the guys 1 through 15, they're all tough. I mean, they're all bangers. You're in for a fight no matter what. With the win over Yadong, I mean, taking a gander at these rankings, you could be in line for some very big fights. I mean, all the names above you in the rankings, from the Garbrandts to the Riveras, the Munozes, all the way up to Marias. Sterling's still there. Now you get the Fabers and the Edgars and the Aldos in there. I mean, first things first, December 7th's got to go well, but 135 is as interesting as it's ever been, in my opinion, especially with Cejudo as the champion doing his thing. This has to get you fired up as a top 10 guy in the division at some of the matchups that could be coming your way, name value-wise.
I know, yeah. I mean, it's honestly crazy. Every time I see it, I go look at these rankings, and I see these guys that are, kind of around me in the rankings, and guys that are coming to, Aldo and Edgar, guys that are coming to 35, and I just, I really, it's pretty surreal for me. I mean, I never really thought I'd be ranked 9th, and Uriah Faber would be 13th in the UFC. Like when I started this, he was the NLB of MMA. So it's absolutely it's really really surreal. But I also see it from an actual fighter standpoint. That's like my fan, how I see it as a fan. But as a fighter, I look at it like, dude, these guys have been fighting a long time. These boys are getting old. I'm going to peak, and they're going to be on their way out, and that's what I'm going to fight them. So I'm looking at, I'm going to have an opportunity to beat some of the guys that I've been watching for the last 10 years of my life. And that means that my pocket's going to get fat. So, ultimately that's what I'm here for. I'm not really shy to say that I don't fight because I'm trying to carry out some kind of legacy or some kind of bullshit like that. I fight because I like the paycheck and the freedom that it brings. That's I look at guys like Frankie Edgar and Aldo and Faber, and I look at those guys and I go, that's my money ticket right there. I want to fight these guys.
Is there anybody of those three guys that you'd want to fight the most? If you had the choice to fight one of those three, who would you rather fight? I mean, you may potentially fight all of them, but if there's one that kind of sticks out above the rest, which one would that be?
Faber's the easiest fight. I mean, I can tell you that right now. I mean, he's got a lot of clout. Everyone knows Uriah Faber, and he's definitely the easiest out of three. So, I mean, if I'm looking at getting the most bang for my buck, he's the first guy I'm going to choose. Frankie and Jose, I think still got a lot of fight left in him. But Faber, after watching him fight Ricky Simone, I mean, I think he maybe threw the luckiest punch of his life that night. I think he was probably on his way to early retirement, but you know, he's one of those guys. It's hard to get out of there.
Now he's fighting Piotr Jan. What do you think about that?
Fuck. I think it's going to be a tough night for him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, but you never know. That's why this is the fight game, so to speak. But, you know, before we start talking about those other names, we got December 7th on our hands in about a month's time. What do you need to do, in your opinion, to get yourself into one of those big fights with some of the names you just mentioned? And how do you see this all playing out on December 7th?
I got a hashtag beat Yadong. You know, with Perez was one of those guys that he never engaged with me. You know, I literally felt like the whole fight he was sitting on his back foot waiting to hit a hard counter shot. I know for a fact Yadong is going to bring the heat. Like, there's no question. Like, the dude's going to come after me. So it's not going to be hard to make an exciting fight. You know, all I got to do is, you know, be in the cage. And the kid's gonna try to hit me, and I'm going to try to hit him. So, in my eyes, I know for a fact this is going to be a crazy fight. I know that 100%. You know, like, I've seen the kid throw, and he throws hard as fuck. And I'm at a point in my career where I know that finish is the ticket to it's the catalyst to get you where you want. You know, you can win a million decisions, but you go and knock somebody out, and then all of a sudden, like, everyone is you know, talking about you, and then your paycheck changes. And I know that, like, this is a pivotal moment in my career, and I absolutely need to go out and beat the shit out of this kid because, you know, one, he's a, you know, up-and-coming guy from China, and everyone thinks he's the next superstar, just like they thought, you know, Tom Duquesnoy was, and that was another pivotal point in my career. So I 100% just show up and beat the shit out of this kid, you know, hands down, and just let everybody know, you know, I am one of those guys. I'm one of those guys in the top 10 that's an absolute fucking killer. And that's what I got to do.
We spoke before we hit record that you are in LA right now. You got this pretty fantastic background behind you. It's like you're in this abandoned warehouse that looks just really cool. How are you enjoying LA right now? I hear the horns beeping behind you a couple different times. How are you enjoying LA so far?
I mean, obviously a lot of cool sights. Yeah, I came here to work out, though. I didn't really come here to see the sights. And I was walking around last night, and I saw a bunch of rats and cockroaches and, like, homeless people. So I've been in nicer cities than LA. I'll say that.
That's a nice way of putting it.
I mean, so yeah, everyone that is a fan of mine from LA is gonna hate me now, but I don't really care. This place is fucking gross.
Can I ask, because maybe this will incite something too. I saw this on Instagram. I looked at it again this morning. You're a pro White Claw guy. Is that true? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but, like, when you posted that, like, was that just a joke? Like,
it's just a joke. 100% just a joke. Yeah, we honestly, there was a bunch of White Claws. My brother and I were we were visiting my mom and dad. We were drinking White Claws because that was the only thing in the refrigerator. And then my brother Jesse showed me this video, and we're like, let's fucking make a video. And we were legit drunk on White Claws making that video. So,
what was the funniest comment you got in that video? Do you remember?
Oh man, just that I'm a huge douchebag, and I'm like, yeah, I know, man. I watched the video. I made it. I know I'm a douchebag.
So is that how you'll celebrate the win on December 7th? A nice bathtub full of ice filled with White Claw in the nation's capital? I mean, how American is that?
Yeah, I guess I will probably never drink another White Claw, but yeah, I'll be drinking something after the fight.
There you go. Back in action December 7th against Yadong Song. It's going to be a hell of a fight at UFC DC. I think that's the hashtag we're going with here for this card. But great fight, 135 pounds. Always great to catch up with the Spartan live from LA. And thank you for the time, Cody. Before we let you go, let the folks know where they can find and follow you on the web, social media, any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, man. The floor is yours.
Everything's just Cody Stamann. Yeah, I look forward to putting on a good show for everyone December 7th. Like I said, I got a hashtag beat you down.
You hope Trump comes to this one? I mean, he went to UFC 244. It's right in his backyard.
It'd be cool to see him, but from what I heard, it'd be a huge fucking pain in the ass. I guess Secret Service has made it hell for everyone in New York, so I hope he shows up after my fight.
There you go. Excellent point right there. Thank you, Cody. All the best to you on December 7th, man.
All right, thank you.